Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're thinking about AQA GCSE English language, and it's paper 1, question 4 that I'll be providing a walkthrough for you today. The reading section is 1 hour long. In that time, you've got 4 questions. First question asks you to list 4 things to do with the first part of the extract. Then you've got a language analysis question. Part of the text is selected for you and you have to analyse the use of language in that. Then you've got a question that asks you about the structure of the whole text. And question 4 that we're looking at today is a mini essay response. It's worth 25% of the marks on the paper and is a 20-mark question. So it needs 20 to 25 minutes of your time. Okay, here is the extract that we've been using. You might want to look at the other videos that are provided for questions 1, 2 and 3, and there's a reading of this extract in the question 1 video if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, you can pause the video and make your way through the extract today yourself if you'd like to. It's an extract about a girl called Abby who is walking her dog across some fields near her house and then comes across an alien craft. So this is what the question is, and you'll be given a part of the text for question 4 for you to focus on. So it says focus this part of your answer on the second part of the source from line 27 to the end. So we're in the time now. We've got 25 minutes, and it's worth reading that again. So I'll just take you through this section of the text here that we're going to be using today. Abby had hoped that she would feel happier with a new companion in her life, but found it hard to see Barney as anything other than a responsibility, especially early in the morning. Having moved away, far from the friends and life she knew before, was something that had really unsettled her. She wished she could take pleasure from life the way that her small brown dog was able to. Something as mundane as a field could bring Barney the same explosion of joy that finding a treasure map might. And Abby wished that her life could seem as fulfilling and eventful. She was desperate to be in touch with her friends from her old school, but had nothing to report. The rope that tied her to them seemed as if it was about to break. It may have been Barney that saw it first, with its flamingo pinks and greens that formed circles on the grass, melting the frost. Amazed, Abby looked up at the craft and felt the air about her pulse. What it was made of, she couldn't tell. It could have either been metal or a form of rock, highly polished. It hung in the air and seemed to oscillate gently to keep its place in front of her, as if it was focusing on her alone. A dull yet beautiful hum rang in her head, and she felt as if the sound she heard was being transmitted to her directly, heard only by her and Barney, who simply looked upwards with his tail wagging in time with the spinning lights. So that's the section of the extract that we're going to be focusing on. And here's the question in its in full. A student said, "The moment where Abby sees the craft is really uplifting and something she really deserved. To what extent do you agree?" In your response, you could consider whether Abby's situation is difficult, evaluate how the writer creates sympathy for Abby, and support your answer with references to the text. So we've been given something to discuss and engage with, and we've got 20 marks to play for. Now, this question is worth as much as 1, 2 and 3 put together. So if you've not managed your time effectively and you've answered question 1, 2 and 3, and you're racing ahead of yourself because you know that you need to get towards question 5, that longer writing task, you're really disadvantaging yourself. You've really got to manage your time. So make sure that you're really familiar with what you have to do for each question and how long you have. So this question needs a lot of focus, and we're going to be arguing from a perspective here and exploring this idea a little bit further. So we've got Abby's difficult situation. Here are a few things that we could be using in this response. So she's only got Barney for company. So if we're thinking about feeling sorry for her and feeling a bit of sympathy for the character, there's a straightforward point there on the left. She only has Barney for company. And the writer juxtaposes the image of an explosion of joy with fields which are described to be mundane. So we've got this sort of juxtaposition here. We've got explosion of joy that we associate with the dog and these mundane fields. So the writer is drawing a contrast between the dog and Abby to make us feel sorry for her. So you could explore the use of hyperbole and how that emphasises how different they are to each other. That's one of the things that we could do in this mini essay response. We can also explore the fact that she's quite lonely. So she misses her friends, and the writer mentions the rope that tied her to them is about to break. This is a great metaphor. Explore, what that's communicating about her situation, how she feels. So it's a really lovely thing for you to do and think further about. And we've got that she wishes her life could feel eventful and all she has is responsibility. I've given you a question there. Think about how you could find some evidence from the text for that she's just got responsibility and very little joy in her life. So we can feel quite sorry for her. The writer clearly wants us to feel sympathy for the character. But those of you who are aiming for a higher band in this instance might be able to think about looking at this situation from a different perspective. Okay, so we've got the idea that her situation is difficult and clearly she's an unhappy character, but we can look at her from a different sort of angle here. So firstly, Barney sounds like fun. She's clearly very, very depressed and miserable and unhappy in her situation, but at the same time, her parents have got her a dog and the dog seems to be filled with joy, and that would be something that a lot of people would be able to find some comfort in, but that's not something that Abby does. So we can look at the idea that Barney actually seems like a really wonderful dog, which is something that she doesn't seem to appreciate. She says that she's got nothing to report, or she feels that she has nothing to report. Well, she's at a new school, she's in a new home, and she's got a new dog. So she's got all sorts of new experiences that she'd be able to share with her friends. It's almost like she's just feeling sorry for herself and isn't wanting to try and embrace the change that's in her life. And the other bit is make some new friends. That's part of it. Maybe she just needs to be a bit more resilient and sort of enter into her new life with a little bit more positivity. So we can explore how we feel sorry for her, but on this occasion, we can also look at her from a different angle, which would be something that would be interesting to explore in your response. So to sum up, this mini essay response is really, really important to you. It's worth 20 marks, which is 25% of the paper. So you need to spend 25 minutes on this question. So you're given something to prove or explore how it's so with references to the text, and you need to analyse them and think about what it is that the writer's communicating. It's very similar in a way to question 2, but you remember that you're trying to argue from a particular perspective here. There might be another way at looking at the point made in the question. If you're being given an opportunity to look at something from a different angle, that's ordinarily what's going to get you into the top band. So see if there's another way that you can approach the situation in the question. But if it says something like this part is really scary and threatening, there might be another way of looking at it, but certainly what the examiner's not looking for is for you to say, no, I didn't find this scary, I found it boring, or something like that. The examiner's chosen an extract that they're hoping you're going to be able to enjoy and engage with. What your real opinion might be about it is is irrelevant. They want you to engage with that question from a critical perspective. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content, and feel free to ask for something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell and share, and keep revising.